Oh, all right. How's everyone doing? How's the stream look? A little off center, maybe? A little off center. Overcorrected. All right, there we go. Hang on. It's hard to look at the camera and see if I'm centered. It's over here. I really probably should have done my hair before I got on. How's everyone doing this morning? Hopefully, everyone's doing well. Hopefully, everyone's doing well, and everyone's here ready to learn something new. So that's what we're going to do today. First, I have to show you all something I'm proud of, so I'll give just a little bit of time for people to filter on. And if you think it is me getting my stream sorted out, not entirely true. Hopefully as of tomorrow or probably Monday. So Monday is a holiday in the U.S., and I'm going to take Monday to work on the stream. Although I probably should just sit around, wait a little while for people to filter on. So I have these little RISC devices, RISC-V devices. Pretty cool. The camera is not going to want to focus unless it's back here on my face or if I do some. Oops. I put the device behind my hand. Anyways, that right there. These little devices. Pretty cool. The processors are RISC. I got them working. That being said, I was hoping to give these away. And I'm going to have to ask you all if you still want these to be a part of a giveaway. Because the amount I have to go through to get these working, I don't think that they're good for like a new person like I was hoping. I was kind of hoping to like ship a one-stop Rust shop in a package. But I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. I think this is for the advanced users. Now, maybe in a year, it won't be just the advanced users. But today, it's just advanced users. Trust me. All right. Well, if this is it, we're going to I guess just start with some assembly line hacking. Yeah. Let me open up the project. Oh, there it is. All right. Let's see. We want to start representing this in code a little bit. the mount points. Yep. Perfect. All right. Let me know when you guys would like to see something awesome other than representing YAML in Rust, which this is kind of gross. Okay, let's see. We have mount points. Then we need a list. I think I'm just, for the time being, going with this until somebody says otherwise. So what we need inside of our station is our list of steps. Do we have a step defined yet? I wrote this a while ago. Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Right now we're just working on assembly line a little bit. We're just going to knock some of this out. I do actually have something I worked on last night, and I want to show you guys. It's pretty cool. Let me know when you want to see it. It will take us away from this for about 5 minutes. So yeah. So I don't think I ever got to where I was describing the steps inside of a station. So I think that's what we kind of need to do now, because yeah, originally I had each station as a step, and so this goes away altogether. There's still going to be a name and an ID and a description. I don't think all of these are required. I think a lot of these are optional. We'll get to those. You know, as you can see, I don't give an ID to all of them. I think really you only need to give an ID if you want to reuse or make it a dependency. That would be my general idea. And again, I know that we've had a lot of conversation about this specifically. Tuesday, if you can join us, I know it's going to be late, and you know what I'm going to try to do? I'm going to actually try to set it up in the middle of my day. So I'm going to try to make sure that at lunchtime for me, we have our office hours so everybody can join. So Tuesday at noon. I'm going to see if that works for everybody, but I think that's when we're going to have office hours. So it's basically the first and third Tuesday of every single month at noon, Eastern Standard Time. So, that's what we're gonna try, and hopefully that works for people. So if you want to get in on this, if you want to figure out what there's some way you can contribute, go for it. We're going to be talking about this Thursday, or Tuesday, because it's rough. I think some of our solution is that this is all going to be configurable in YAML, and that's, or not YAML, shoot, in Lua, as well as a UI, and then that makes it okay. It makes it okay if it's not perfect, because you'll have two options that are better. But a lot of the community uses YAML, so I think we need to support the YAML option. And YAML is just kind of gross for displaying these types of relationships. All right, so we have station. What we really need is a new step. How's everyone doing? You guys are kind of quiet. Makes me nervous. Yeah, we're just gonna copy and paste this because this has like all the imports and stuff. So the step's gonna have a name, an ID, a description. Maybe we want to put these in their own struct. Kind of like, Kubernetes does this with Kubernetes does like their metadata, which has the name and all those types of things. So maybe we should do that. I hate that because it does an indentation one more. So instead of like name like this would be like metadata. Um Well, no, this wouldn't be metadata. Sorry. Shoot. Yeah, it gets weird. I don't like it, needless to say. Let's think about that. Because you'd have something like... You'd have something like this, and then meta... data... Name... Name... description... Something. Do we like that? Thank you so much for the follow, dude. That's Vat. I'm gonna call you Vat. Until you let me know. Thank you for the follow, and I know that I don't have any follows, so like nobody knows that somebody followed. I do. I'm letting everybody else know. I will. I am working on that. So I'm pretty new to streaming here on Twitch. I am working on getting some of those alerts. So thanks for the follow. I actually just this morning was able to get a couple new setups. So we have chatting now that should have you don't either? You feel well, hey, if you're live, I will we should if you do some of the same stuff, we should be streaming buddies. I do Kubernetes, Rust, Go. Right now we're working on I'll talk about it a little bit, but I'm working on some of these so that we have. I used to just have this as the chatting, but now some people can see what the chatting is. Oh, an in-house language. I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart. But yeah, I got some different setups here going, so I'm pretty happy with it. But alerts are in the works. Are in the works. You're not either. Well, so for those of you who are new, what we're doing here is we have a problem, and we laid this out. I was gonna see if we couldn't get the new new Bing, but I wasn't. I haven't been able to get on there. So if we need to ask an ML something, we'll have to just relay it on ChatGPT. But if you guys are new and wanting to know what we were working on, basically we have this problem. You're integrating ChatGPT natively? That sounds dangerous. That sounds dangerous. All right, so we had some drawing work done here, but we have this problem with almost every CI/CD automation out there. Does ChatGPT have a good public API? Cool. I've never used it. Okay, so we basically came up with this. Is that we have a problem, and the fact is our problem is that things like GitHub Actions are awesome until you try to develop locally, and then and the same goes for Tekton, which is an open source project, but it runs on Kubernetes. And if you want to do that locally, it means creating a Kubernetes cluster, going through a 2-page doc on how to install it. And then is that even configured the same as your server? So like is that the same as what it's actually going to run in your real pipelines? And the answer is no, probably not. And we wanted to solve this like once and for all. And I know that's what everybody sets out to do. And so obviously we won't be solving it once and for all, but we're going to take our good stab at it. And the idea is that we don't have a server that runs in Kubernetes. It can run in Kubernetes, but it's not like Tekton, which requires it to run on Kubernetes. it's not going to be required to run inside of Kubernetes. We might have a high availability deployment in Kubernetes, and that's fine, just not required. The idea is that you're going to be able to run this on your machine and talk to the server and run it, if you have permissions, on your local machine, just like the server itself would run it. Now, the server might run it on Kubernetes. It might run it on a GPU instance. You don't really know, and you shouldn't really care. But we should have this like ability to test and write our pipelines on our local machines. That's part of it. And then we have some like how assembly lines will fit in. And all of this is open source. Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, take care of production needs, always. So this is what we're working on. Also, for all of you who didn't hear, I'm going to try. So next Tuesday is our office hours for this. If you want to join in on those office hours, they're public. You have to just join the Discord. So I actually paid for Nitro to boost the server so that we can have nice 1080p conversations. That's what they said, at least. So we'll see. So you can join the Discord and they'll be there. I'm gonna stream those office hours to this Twitch channel as well. It's just gonna be streaming the office hours. So if you just want to watch, that's fine. You don't have to actually join the Discord or whatnot. The Discord's in the link. But if you want to, or in the lower section below the video, I don't know what that's called. But if you want to join those office hours, get your 2 cents in. You hate YAML, want to complain about it, go for it. All right, do you guys want to, since we got sidetracked, do you guys want to see something cool really quickly? You know how I showed you guys these right here? Hide my face. This. So this has a RISC-V processor in it. And it's pretty awesome. I got them all soldered up, or a couple of them soldered up, and my original idea for these was to actually give them away because I'm excited about Rust on RISC. And I have come to the conclusion that unless it's not going to be a good tool for beginners. It's not going to be a good tool for beginners yet. Now, maybe in a year we can come up with an image as a community, but I think that if I'm going to give these away, they're going to be to more experienced people. But let's do something really cool, and then we'll get back to some YAML Rust hacking. So here we go. I'm going to plug this in. And then I'll share my screen. All right. And so this is just USB. I have a USB to serial device because I don't have serial on this computer. And wait for it. Just wait a second. This thing isn't the beefiest of things. It's not the beefiest of things. It's a small little processor. It's a single performance core and a single high energy core. I might have done this a little early. Maybe it wasn't fully started. Maybe it's broken. Maybe I broke it. Let's try again. This was working last night. This is why you don't give live demos. What have I done? Ah, there we go. It's still kicking. And yeah, this is Linux on a RISC-V processor. People. Now the thing is, I thought I was just going to take I was an idiot. I was like, I'm just going to go like sudo. Well, I don't have to do sudo since I'm root. I was just going to jump on and okay, so sometimes sometimes the screen connection isn't real stable on this. Oh, there we go. It's come back. So I was just going to do like apt. Let's. I don't know why that S is stuck there. Yeah, I'm just going to do apt. Install. Rust. Whatever. The problem with this plan was it's a highly custom version of Linux. It's basically wrap your own. So this will fail as soon as it comes back. I think that there's a problem with the baud rate. I'm using what they recommended, but it's not been super stable. Like I said, this is not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Apt install. App's not found. Of course it's not. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why did it add that when I tabbed completed? It added a C. Ah, okay, so yeah, this is super aggravating, but it's also cool. It's awesome. I'm very excited about this. Obviously, it's not the greatest. Because yeah, I have to use this to take it to Serial, and then their baud rate is super high, but that's what they're recommending as their baud rate. So then my hope is to get the terminal through the USB connection that it has. It has a USB OTA OTA connection, and I hope that it's wired in such a way where I can get the console through that. The other thing that I should be able to do is enable SSH and actually just SSH to it once I get Wi-Fi set up on it, because it comes with a Wi-Fi chip. It's like a pretty awesome device. It's like an ESP32, except we should be able to use Rust with like all of its libraries, like the standard libraries, because if you use Rust on a ESP32, you get kind of cut off at the knees, and it's not nice, and it hurts. And I didn't want people to have to do Rust that way. But I think for now I'm going to stick to giving away the bigger, more expensive boards, because these I can set up just to be plug and play and rustable. And so it's going to be expensive and it's going to hurt me a lot, but these boards are awesome. All right, that was like why I stayed up late last night. Let's get back into some YAMLing Rust. All right. I'm sorry if you guys aren't as excited about that as I am. And I know it was actually a little more stable last night. I wonder if one of those connector pins wasn't all the way working there. It was a little bit more stable than it was right then, but it's a pretty hot 2 million baud is over these type of cables is pretty fast. Usually you go slower, but that's what it said it wanted to communicate at. Hey Russell, how are you doing? So, office hours, Tuesday at noon. I'm pretty sure I can swing that. I will be sending out an invite of sorts. Eastern Standard Time, if that works for everybody. I think that works the best for the world. Like, noon Eastern Standard Time is the most conforming to the entire world. It's not getting everybody in the world, and I get it. And I'm sorry if that's you. But it is as close as I can make it. Oh, you've had 2 hours of sleep, dude. Go sleep some. We're gonna hack on assembly line here for a little while. Then we're going to talk about the Rust class, and we're gonna get your guys' feedback on that. Then we're gonna do some elevator. 2 hours of sleep is rough. I remember in college when I would do 2 hours of sleep, and it is so much rougher. It's so much rougher now. I remember doing that multiple days in a row. That does not happen nowadays. All right. I am thinking about pulling this out into like a metadata because I feel like almost everything, whether it's a pipeline, whether it's a station, or a step, will have this. I'm going to just try it, and we're going to see how we feel about it. I feel like this is bringing in the bad of Kubernetes. So please, not necessarily the bad of Kubernetes. I don't know. I have such a love-hate relationship with Kubernetes. I love Kubernetes, and there are so many things I would change if it was up to me. Which you guys will see in a video. Oh, Russell, before you go, how do you like this? Look at this. So when I'm chatting with you guys, chat's like right up there. Did I see your PR? No. I can look over it. Do you mind if I look over it in on live? I don't need to do that though. That can if you're not used to open source, having your PR reviewed live could be, I don't know. It depends on the person. I don't really care. You can call my PR garbage, and I'll be like, it's probably garbage. I probably agree with you. Not even gonna lie. So then we can do something like just make this. No, we want this to be. Let's actually fix this as. Can we get Copilot to get the right use here? Oh, this is actually why I like Copilot. Copilot with Rust has actually proved really good at getting imports for you. So like we needed to import this, and it actually did fairly well. As a new Rust person, importing was really, really difficult for me. Figuring out what I needed to import in almost every other language, there was a really good auto import. So like I would type something, and except for C++. But then you just didn't import stuff because it didn't have a package manager, and you had to go statically link something, and so like you really had to know what you were doing. And Rust kind of bridged that, where it was easy enough, but also wasn't like other languages where it just did everything with you. So I have found that it does this fairly well. Okay, so we're gonna go check out a PR that I didn't see. GitHub. Another thing that I also noticed is I did make this under my channel, but we can move it to its own organization if and when we want. Like there's, I just don't create an organization for every test project that we make. But if it gets its own feet, absolutely, it doesn't need to be in the null channel. Oh, I did actually see this. So let's see. This is the still. I saw this. Because of your comment in Discord about implementing something and then finding out that it already exists. It was actually really late for me at that point, but I have been there, done that, where I spent a ton of time and and found out it already existed. And like the worst part is it exists better than what I've always done. So it's like, oh yeah, it already existed, and I spent 2 hours, and obviously somebody spent days or weeks implementing this feature, thinking about it, that knew the system, and I just was like, oh, I'm gonna try to get through it really quickly, and your implementation sucked, but you just wasted 2 hours. So this is the it's still full of hard code, but it's a start. So this is moving CRI proof of concept to main repo. Honestly, the main repo is still a proof of concept, so I'm completely okay with. I'm not gonna say call your code garbage. My code is garbage, but having some garbage code in there, just because it's a way for us all to work together. If we're all split off, we're not working on the same thing, and so I think it's nice to pull it in. Let's see. We have the build. If you guys haven't seen this, this is actually pretty awesome. Probably should have a new line here. I'm gonna be a little. I don't. So this is how I do knits. If it's truly a knit, I don't put it unless if I find another change. If I'm like, oh, this needs to change. This right here needs to change. This is terrible. And I start my review. Then I'm going to say, okay, well, while you're back there fixing it, this is a knit that this needs a new line. In general, though, if it's actually a knit, don't post it. Don't put it in there. If it's you nitpicking, just stop. Yeah, I want to cancel that, and I want to cancel this as well. I want to report myself. No, I just want to delete it. Okay, so, but this is actually pretty, and this is something we're going to get into the Rust class in a couple of weeks. The build.rs is actually pretty powerful, and one of the things that comes into is with protobufers. Basically, what Russell is doing here is building out the protobuffers from the GitHub Kubernetes CRI. Here, we can actually go check this out. If you go want. So basically, building the protobuffers from here, and this is the API to this is the CRI, the Container Runtime Interface. So this is basically just interfacing to. This is what Containerd. This is what CRI-O. You pick your choice. This is what this they interface with. So this is really cool. I didn't mean to harp on this, but this actually like brings the power of more dynamic languages that have a runtime. So like Go has a runtime, so it has a little bit of reflection. It's crappy reflection, but it has a little bit of reflection in it. And some people leverage that to do things. And this gives you compile time reflection, kind of. It's not the exact same, but it's actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. All right, so this is just creating a socket to a local one. Wait, you're returning a channel? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I haven't done this, so I couldn't actually. This looks pretty good to me, so I haven't done it though, so it's not like I have experience that's like, oh, instead of try from, you want to try, instead of endpoint, you want to do this other thing. So I don't really have any valuable thing here. As far as the code goes, it looks. I think you're better at Rust than I am, Russell. So, you actually did your imports better than mine. So sometimes I have a tendency, and you'll see this. And so like this is actually a really good Rust imports here. I think it's just rendering wrong. Maybe because of my size here. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I assumed it would look like. I'm making it larger for everybody that's viewing. This is the right way to do Rust import. And you can actually see he has a nested one here. And I want to call that out because this is really cool and really powerful. And I sometimes don't do this. And I should be ashamed of myself, and you should call me out every single time you see me do it. Because I'll do something like this where it's like you can just make a new line and redeclare the entire thing. Runtime v1. So let's actually do this. You could do something like this instead. And sometimes I do this because I don't remember that I've already imported some of it. And so instead of this, I do, this. And then I do another line. And I should be ashamed of myself. Russell did very nice imports. This looks weird. Why do you do a non-public mod into a public mod? Oh, this is the protobuffer stuff. Is this a bug that this is not public? I feel like this should be pub 2. I don't know. That just stands out to me that you've wrapped a public module in a non-public one. I'm guessing though that it worked. Rust Analyzer. That's a great thing to have in your pipeline. Do you know what I'll be super happy is when assembly line has an assembly line that checks all these things. Dog fooding. Oh, okay. I get where you're going. No. Also, so like I know that I have Russell on here, but if you're just talking about good PR reviewing, I think it's a learning experience for both the person you're reviewing their code and for yourself. You can take this and you can ask questions. I don't mind if somebody says, "Hey, should this be public?" Go ahead and ask. Take it as a learning experience for now obviously you can try to do your best to look something up. Don't be like, what does async mean? Yeah, I would be a little annoyed with that. But if it's something like with context in it, that's great. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to zoom this out just a little. This is making the wrapping a little weird. So we have a runtime service client and an image client. Cloning, then consuming the channel. What channel was this? Where do we create this channel? Right here. A let else. I love it. This is newish in Rust. Love it. Okay. So this is in the run container. Run container, we're container request. I don't know what's in there, but we'll find out in a little bit. And in here, we are creating a Unix socket. Once we have that, we're creating a image and client service, or a client and image client. And we're calling create container. So I'm assuming this is just like getting the tag of the container, getting the list images, listing the images, pulling the image. Create container is what I really wanted to see because I believe this returns the run container request. All right, and this is the pod sandbox config. Beautiful. Beautiful. We don't want to deal with DNS. That's my bane of my existence. We probably need to stop you from logging weird error messages. This function is a little heavy. In general, I would be like, remove this. I think commented code can be powerful in experiments, which is what we're doing right now. Oh, this isn't all code. This is actually, okay, so this is actually even better than code. This is a link. So this is fantastic. Never mind. I wouldn't even say that here. I thought this was commented code, especially because of the line wrapping. But if I zoomed out so you guys had a hard time seeing, that looks much better. Okay, cool. We could specify run C, gvisor. Gvisor wouldn't be a target, would it? I don't think so. Oh, I guess. Okay. Yes, you could. Never mind, it would be. You're talking about the thing that actually runs the container. I thought you were talking about the container runtime. But you're talking about the runtime handler. Got it. This is actually how I have the null cloud set up so that you can specify either one. Is this the proper way to create an empty string? I'm not gonna nitpick. I'm fine with it. Never mind. I didn't ask. I was just gonna do like the string new method if it's just an empty string. But this is fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter. What are we doing here? Should create container. Why would there be a false? How does this fail? Let's see. We're gonna get a okay, you switch to string from later. Okay. That feels better to me because it's just more explicit. I like explicit. You could actually remove the string here as well, just because then it's explicit on the right-hand side. All right. Should create container is listing the containers. List containers. Let container exists. Okay, so does it exist locally? I think if I had and if it exists, oh, we're still in the same one here. Oh boy. One second. Let me zoom out a little bit just to get the line wrappings good here. So this is this entire block. So we're checking if it exists. And if it doesn't exist, then we should. Okay, so you're checking if it already exists. Is this flawed though? Should we not be able to run two of the same container locally? So let's say we're running two pipelines currently, or we run a branch. We run a branch like this, where this container and this container is the same. They just have a different run command. They would run at the same time, right? Am I misreading this? Let me go over this, make sure. I mean, this might be fine for right now. Maybe what we need to do in the future is actually track which containers are being run for what jobs. And this becomes a little bit more complicated because you have to say, is this container already running for this job? Again, I know that this is proof of concept code, so I'm not going to sit here and nitpick too much. And I'm mostly just using this time to think about it. Like that's what oh, I can close that side. Sweet. Never mind. This is better. I can make it larger now. I'm mostly just sitting here to think about it. I mean, that's what I do most code reviews anyways. again, I think this is probably fine for just merging in for right now. It's something that works. We can iterate on it afterwards, not get too stuck on making it perfect. I love enums. Propagation host to container, propagation bidirectional. Wait, what is this? What? Oh, this is creating a container. Okay. You're configuring it. Configuring it. That sounds bad. Let's not use that. You're configuring it, not configuring it. Setting up its mounts. Oh, okay, okay. You're letting us know how these map. Okay, I got it. So 0 is propagation private. I got it. Okay, this isn't actually commented code. This is you saying what these actually mean. I got it now. Like to translate, if you're going to change this from 0, these are the other values. I got it. This is, yeah. I think. Right. Our own enum that would translate to the right thing. And then that enum can have a link to the Go counterpart. All right, just mount work. I mean, this looks good. I'm not going to spend too much more time. It looks like it starts a container, mounts it's going to put mount this into. I've always wondered, should it be just like the root gets mounted to the temp output, or yeah, again we can argue about that, but I don't know that it matters right now. Or maybe the input gets mounted to the root. I'm not sure, or maybe just input's fine. This is a test that will never fail. I almost guarantee it. Testing the runtime is hard. Without like a full-on integration test, testing this is hard. And now I'm sure that there's stuff that we can break up, like especially around the configuration and stuff like that to test. But the actual test to the runtime, you have to do an integration test. Like that's just how it has to go. Or you spend all your time mocking out the runtime, and you have this imperfect thing. Yeah, I think we can just let the user define the volume parts. I agree. I agree. Okay, you're just. And you did this all in the client, right? This is in the client code. Or you just did it at the root. Okay. You have the CRI. You did just a. So you should have like a update to the work. Uh, let's bring back this. You should have a update to the cargo. That's what I was looking for. Yep. Okay, you added the CRI here. I see. This looks good. One thing that I did over in mine was I added this config. Basically because we said that the server and the agent need to be able to read in the configuration. I'm going to put in all of the configuration stuff in this workspace. So, not sure if it's the right thing, but it's the thing that I did. Cone of shame for the empty test. We need a cone of shame emoji. See, okay, this is what I feel like it's fun, but then somebody's going to abuse it and use it to be mean. I don't think you. No, no, I don't think you need to. I think this is. Oh, you mean your configuration stuff? Well, that's what I was working on today. Yeah. Let me do it. I'll rebase your stuff in, and I mean, I was just experimenting. I mean, as far as I had seen, we hadn't even gotten a full implementation yet, so yeah, yeah. And maybe what I'm doing can you can just start adopting some. I don't know. I was just trying to kind of make it look like our YAML. Um, okay, we need to update our station input and station output. This really should become step. And this needs renamed. I don't think we'll have a station config because the station will get a little bit simpler. It should still have dependencies here because it could depend on other stations, but it shouldn't have dependencies on other steps. Won't have input, output, won't have mounts. Or wait. I think we said that it will have mounts. It will have input, output because it will be the station that has them all. And steps won't individually do it. Oh no, now I'm getting confused myself. One second. Do we mount? I feel like we almost need both. No, I think steps should mount how they want to mount. I think there should be some default way, but steps should be the things that mount. Stations will have to have output themselves, though, right? Because if a station hands off its workload to another station, there's going to have some way to have output. So, yeah, a step is what I have as a single container. Now, my question is, to make it easy, should a station not be able to have like default mounts so that if you don't care, it will automatically configure basically the mounts for. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I think that would be nice for a highly serial work. So like I just want everything to mount at the root and share everything because that's what serial usually does. See, I actually would disagree. You need it when creating the container, but one station should be configured all the same. They should mount in the same place. That's why you have a checkout and then build that happens right after the checkout because the checkout code just is working in the same area, right? So this should be on station. Do I revert this? Maybe I revert this. Go back to station. Leave it at station config. Station input, station output. I'm going to delete these until we have a better. I think that they still need to be individually mounted, maybe. But I'm not sure what that will look like. No dependencies on the individual steps, just the stations. So we have metadata. I don't know exactly what will be in step config, but we will have some configuration for step. That I believe that's probably like where I don't know. We could have like a run command that could be in there, or we could just. I'm gonna put them all here for right now, and then we can compress them later. Run. So Russell brings up a point. If you want to be able to use a marketplace of containers, you have to be able to deal with those marketplace assumptions like output directory is mapped to blah. That marketplace container. I don't know that we have a marketplace of containers. I think that we have a marketplace of stations. And I'll explain why. Docker Hub is already a marketplace of containers, right? I don't think that we ever offer a marketplace of containers. If you wanted to say, though, I have a a a station that builds a Rust container or builds a Rust project and deploys it to Docker Hub. That is something of value, but you've tied several containers together, right? Now maybe I'm wrong here, and I very well could be wrong. And I mean, in this station, you could create a custom container, but that custom container would be in just a registry somewhere. That step will need to deal with that. Yes. Yeah, those containers might have been built specifically to use a very specific input and output volume. So that step will need to deal with that. Agreed. I think that you're right that possibly the answer is it's both a station and a step. A station does it in a general way, and then you can do very specific if you need to. So like if there's a container you need to use that doesn't support our general mounting, then you have the power to do it. But it's a little bit more of an advanced user. It's not your standard user. I think that's something to keep in mind is like don't make your easy path harder for your advanced user. Let your advanced user have a little bit of a harder path because they're already an advanced user. At least that's my idea. I could be very wrong. Oh no, I'm not doing that yet. All right, so we have run. I'm not sure we need a step config, honestly, except for like inputs and outputs. Is yeah. So maybe we'll still do a step config here. All right, it is 10:30. Remind me at 11. That's when I go over the Rust class. 11 to 11:30, we're doing Rust class, going over error handling today. And then from 11:30 to noon, I'll probably do a little elevator, and then we'll call it quits. And we'll go see if we can't find somebody doing something interesting in either Rust or Kubernetes or Go, and go raid them. So yeah, we still have an hour and a half left of stuff to do. What were we going to do here? A step config. That's right. So. Let's see. It's just like copying the other stuff. Sometimes it's completely useless. It's literally just like stuff that we had typed in this and this mashed together. I am just going to copy and paste this though because we do need that. Actually, not these. All right. So we need some sort of. I'm just going to do them this way for right now. Input, and this is just going to be like. I think we're just going to say these are vecs of strings. I think. We'll need to import use. No. I need to use, what is it? STD. And then debug, partial equals, serialize and deserialize are from Serde, so that should be good. We have our metadata. Okay, so we have our step config here, which we'll need to import. So really what we should do here is something like this. This is what I said I get in the problem of doing, is everything from this should be imported. And he is right that Rust format will solve this for me. All right. We don't need the super here. We're all in the super. We're all super. We're all super happy to be here. And then the other thing that we need here is oh, actually, we don't need this anymore. We got rid of all the station stuff. So this cleans up nicely. All right. So we have our mounting options, and I understand that our mounting options are kind of lame right now, and we'll need more mounting options. This is not to figure out everything that we need. It's to give us the base groundwork where we can start iterating off of and getting better. We can run it, we can configure it, we have information on it like an ID. I think this is all we need for base. So let's not there too much. We can update this with metadata. Let's do that really quickly. I'm just gonna grab this here, and we will update this to be that. All right. And so this can go into pub metadata. Beautiful. I think, Russell, that would be good. That was kind of, and I say my thought when if you would ask me if you want to use somebody else's station, not your station. If you want to use, how would you use somebody else's station? All right. So what I was thinking here in station, in station, you have to have a list of steps, which we don't have yet. Now, my question here, so we have these steps, but we don't need to use our steps. We could say that we want to use somebody else's station. And what would be really nice is to just use a string. So basically something like stations name remote station. It won't have any dependencies. I won't do its ID. And instead of steps, we give it something like remote. No, remote sounds stupid. Maybe just Git. And then it would be like github.com/null channel/ assembly line / lines my awesome pipeline.yaml. Something like this. I don't know. Now, I would generally say this has to go through the server to validate that it's correct or that you're allowed to use it. Because I know that businesses are going to want to be able to say, we only allow you to use from these places. So I think if you have a remote server configured, the remote server needs to validate that, the null channel assembly line is a valid place to pull a line from. I don't know. This is not perfectly thought out. This is just kind of what I was thinking. Well, so if a station mounts everything, I guess what you'd have to do is this should have documentation on what it outputs, right? A station is going to output a zip file, right? If every station outputs a zip file, you can deal with it how you like, right? Maybe? I don't know. I'm thinking on the fly here. And so as far as other things, I guess you need to have this would be like GitHub Actions. You could have like a env that you pass in. So not event. This is one thing that I do hate about GitHub Actions or Copilot right now is if I hit return for a new line, it actually replaces it with events. I have to hit escape. Then I have to hit enter. So if I'm typing quickly, I end up getting the thing that I don't want. env, I don't know, but you could do something like this to configure it, like to pass variables to it, to configure it. It could also we could allow this to expose options like I don't know. We'll have to think about that. Because I would want us to be able to reuse our own. So like this is almost more like path instead of that. And then the path could also be like this other pipeline. Right? And I mean it could also be .lua. And since this is YAML, you should always quote these. Always quote your YAML. Um, we'll have to think about this. No, I wasn't going to say like Helm. I was not going to say like Helm. I was going to say better than anything like Helm. That's you missed the front part. You missed the front part. Helm is the nightmare that YAML has created. We can all be honest. I feel like we can do everything just with an environment here though. Because then that's the standard. This is going to use these variables and they have to document them. It would be nice if we had some sort of like standardized way to accept inputs. We can do better than just environment variables. We should be able to define inputs that makes this fail and complain to say, hey, we have a required input. We just need to think that through. I'm not going to think that through right now today, but this should be supported. I'm going to leave this in. I think I'm close. I think I'm missing a few imports, but I'm close to like a very base. This is a pipeline. It has a name. It has stations. It has an ID. I want the ID up. Oh, that was horrifying. All right. So we have name, ID, station, descript. Okay, so we just have metadata here again. This was good to do the metadata. Let's do metadata. Oh, look at this. This is a Merrick special. This is literally a Merrick special. If this was Merrick, he would just do use super metadata. Woo. That is what Merrick does. That's how Merrick rolls. Metadata. There we go. And then again, we don't have full support for this, but it would be something like remote or I'm just gonna say string for right now. It probably is should be some optional, but like I'm just I don't know why I'm not thinking. I'm gonna update this to remote instead of path. I don't know. I'm torn between path or remote, or maybe we just support both. Not sure. I know we're both thinking at different levels right now. You're thinking of like what do I need for a container and I'm thinking of what's the UX to the user. And I think I can take that UX and provide you with what you need at the container level. And it doesn't mean that we necessarily ask all the same questions. And, you know, for me, I think a station should derive some of that stuff to be standard so it makes it easy. So you don't have to ask all the stuff. You know, it just kind of works. If you check out your code and then you build it, you're in the same path unless if you did something fancy. Like you're in the same area, your build runs in the same place you checked out. Um, I think that just makes it really easy. Now that doesn't mean I didn't mount stuff. You know, it doesn't mean I didn't do stuff. It just means I made it easy for you. All right, so this is Americ Special up here. Let's fix this. Use super. Beautiful. Now we can just delete this. GitHub Actions or GitHub Copilot. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, we were running short on time. I didn't get the next Rust video recorded because I ran into a thing where, like, what I did last time was took user input, which I think was a mistake. I should have started with an integer. So I kind of been reworking the code again a little bit. I'm going to take you guys through that journey. And then I've actually really loved it because I'm getting feedback on how to change it and make it better and hit the things that you guys are interested in and care about. I think where we ended last week is where we're going to end with error handling, but we're actually going to be handling some errors and doing some of that. So today's error handling. All right, I think this is fairly good. I will need to run some tests on it. I believe that I'm missing some imports. I believe vector needs to be imported, and I didn't import it every place that it's used. I believe that's the right. I don't actually know. Why is this not? It should have better. Oh. I know why. I was going to say it should have better error handling, but there we go. Ah, see. So if you don't add the mod to the main file, this really doesn't actually exist in the project, and then it's never actually tested in the project either. Now this probably should actually be a library. I should update this. This shouldn't be a thing. This looks better. This is what I was expecting. All right. Wait, Surdy? Did I not? Oh. It's not wrong. I've been using Surdy this entire time without importing it. Surdy. There we go. I thought I had something on here to give me versions. Man, I just guessed. Okay. Did that fix everything? Wait. Rust Analyzer is upset. Oh, wait. I did screw this up. I think it's just failing because it expected that. There we go. Super metadata. It doesn't find metadata? It's right here, buddy. It's right here. Generally, when this happens, and I think that it's screwing up because it's right here, I have done something terribly wrong. That's learn from mine. We'll come back to that one. So it's not liking metadata. Why isn't it liking metadata? I have done something terribly wrong. Oh. Yeah. Like I said, I have done something terribly wrong. I haven't added it here. There we go. All right. This is good. All right. Vector is not in collections. That was a guess. Is vector just part of the global? Can I just use this? I thought I had to import this. Did this change recently? Do I not need to import vector? Maybe I don't. Why do you not like... Oh. It's just complaining no comma here. That comes as standard. Okay. I don't know why HashMap is the collection that needs to be imported. I guess probably just from my C++, I was always thinking Vec needs imported. Okay, there. Is Rust Analyzer happy? There we go. I'm going to make a pull request. Everybody's more than welcome. Nighthound, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I'm going to make a pull request for this. Everybody's more than welcome to tell me that it sucks and it's garbage. It is garbage at this moment. We're just experimenting with some stuff, trying to understand what we would like. But all your input is more than welcome. It is kind of terrible at this moment, though. Git add. Let's see. We have our... This is what I was expecting. Yep. Okay. Init. Init config. Let's see. Oh, you know what I haven't done yet? Let's do this. Let's be good neighbors. Let's go to the assembly line. We're going to be good. We're going to be good open source people. Git remote add. What? 1 second. Git remote add upstream. Git remote set URL upstream push no push get remote -v. That looks good. Get fetch upstream. Get rebase upstream main. We'll pull in the new stuff that this is what I wanted to do. The reason I wanted to do this is because we merged in Russell's stuff, which touched this cargo. He added a workspace. I added a workspace. Now we have a problem. Oh, he also updated the git ignore. So, okay. I added target and he added target. So we're going to accept both changes. Going to save that. This ignores all target folders, and maybe we don't want that, but I sometimes like build just a sub project which then has a target nested. Maybe this is bad. I let me know in the pull request if you think that this is horrifying. And I will do it no more. Git rebase continue. Let's see. Git status. We have updated it. Right. Yeah. It's good. Git add. Git ignore. Git status. Did I make changes to the cargo? I did not. Did I? Oh, I did. I did. I'm going to leave that. Git add cargo. Wait. Cargo lock should not be a part of this. Cargo. It should be ignored. Git add. Git ignore. And I have added it. Well, I blundered. I'm doing well. Nighthound, how are you? Is school finishing up for you? I know that you were in exams a couple weeks ago, maybe? Seems early for summer break, though. This is something I have blundered. Let's fix that really quickly. That should fix that. Oh, I didn't source it. I don't know why I have such a hard time typing Jusharsi. I really do. I was expecting that one. The cargo lock, we should just delete. This is why it should not be part of Git. This is why Russell's was good. I don't care. We will accept the current change. Whatever. We will fix that in just a second. We have to get it out of Git first, though. That's a little scary. But it's okay because we'll make a pull request and we'll be able to get to see it. Another thing that I like to do here, if you're really being a good citizen, and in an open source project, when you're going to make a pull request, I know that some people have asked me, so if I'm being a little didactic, I apologize. People have asked if you're trying to be part of a open source, it's not changing history if it's local. So if you haven't pushed this and this is not part of the server, it's not changing history. And so a really nice thing here to do is to do this. We've already rebased. It's already there. It's just to do a git rebase -i upstream main. Now, what this is going to allow us to do here is squash all of this extra stuff. I made some commits as I was playing around, as I pushed to my branch, just to save my work. But they're not all buildable pieces. They're not all, and so they don't all deserve to be in there. And in fact, so I'm going to just squash these out of existence. I'm going to make the main commit better because this is And we'll write that, and then we'll pick up all these. And really, all we wanted was this last one. So now this is going to look really nice. It's going to be nice and wrapped up, and we can just now, if you do a git log here, look at this. This is the upstream main. We have one commit that is nice, tidy. It's beautiful. This is how to be a good upstream committer. You're given a nice tidy package, not garbage. Now, when you do push, you're going to have to push with force, which is a little disconcerting. But if you look here, if you look what I did here, git remote, is I cannot, I have permission to push to upstream. I can't even accidentally push to upstream, because if I try, the URL is wrong. There's nothing there. You can put garbage here. I put no push because this just makes me see it, and I'm like, oh, I can't push. So I can only push to my fork, and so I can push with force, knowing I'm not stamping on something. Cool. And now, if we go over here, and we're like, hey, let's oh, our main branch isn't protected. Oh no. New pull request. Compare across forks. Check it out. And these are all of our changes. I'll let you guys give it a review. Let me know, and then we'll jump into the Rust class. Oh boy, I misspelled definitions. How is everyone doing? How does everybody like this? You can see chat, kind of, while we're chatting. Ah, so this this is for it's called tennis elbow. Because tennis players develop it. Now do not be confused with me being a tennis player, because I am not. I'm not very good at tennis. But I do sleep on my arm occasionally and screw it up. So I'm just a bad sleeper. So yeah, that's what that's for. It does actually. So if you have that, so basically I'll have numbness all the way from like basically my elbow all the way up to my fingers. They'll go numb and I can't feel them. Um, this amazingly helps. It's also a little bit painful. Maybe it's weird and painful, disconcerting. So it helps a lot. These are really cheap too. You can go find them just about anywhere. Um, Absolutely helps. It also helps for me to not do the thing. So if you're in the woes of it, and I'm not a medical profession, so don't take this as, but if you're dealing with tennis elbow, um, you need to go on something like ibuprofen for reduced inflammation for a few days, and you need to wear this, and you need to not do whatever it is that causes you problems for a little while, until you have it under control. That's what my doctor told me, and it was like a week for me, and yeah, that's what happened. But At this point, all I have to do is if I accidentally do something, I just have to wear it for a day or two, and then it's back to normal for me. But yeah, no medical advice here. Just telling you what happened to me, what my doctor told me to do, and it's worked fairly well. I can actually probably take it off at this point. All right, Rust class. Rust. All right, so this is more of a conversation because I'm teaching a Rust class, making videos on it. I want you guys to tell me what I want feedback in this. I want you to watch the lessons as well because basically what I want to do is I love the feedback that you all give me while presenting it to you all so that I can actually add more context. I can make sure I answer questions if you guys find something confusing and so on. So and actually this has been helping me a lot because my last one was on flow control. And what I found out was the last one was like 3/4 on error handling, which wasn't right because today was supposed to be on error handling. And so I want to fix that. I want to fix that. It means that I'm making some pretty big changes to what I was planning on recording for last week's video, which is why the video hasn't come out. I do have Monday off though, so maybe I'll get to record both of these this weekend, which would be awesome. Release 2 Rust videos next week. If I can squeeze it out, that's what I'll be doing. I also have a Kubernetes video that I want to release in 2 weeks, so I got to work some on that, but let me find I can't speak and think at the same time. Hey dude, welcome back. Hope hope that went well. So, last week, I don't remember why Impel Merrick was up here. I'm gonna have to go watch that VOD. I don't remember what we were doing here. But so what we were talking about is basically this was brutal. I came across a bug or an error or I don't know. I remember this. I'm glad I put this behind me. We basically input or read in input from the user, from the command line, and then we use that to basically deal with flow control. But the problem was, and what I was realizing when I was looking over this and trying to understand or like make sure, I was also combining error handling because people had to understand what result was. People had to do that. So what I want to do is I want to make last week's lesson way simpler, where we literally just say, let I equal 10, and then let's match I, and boom. And then we can play around with this, and we can do 15, and we can see what it does. Oh. So. I misspelled match. That is 1 second. That was a weird. Okay. Anyways, and so I want to do this. So this is less dynamic, but I think that it flows better and it keeps the lesson simple. While oh, Taylor, you'd love to see a bin. We can play around with some of those. I'll show you a website, which I think you'll find really interesting, And yeah, so as soon as this lesson part is done, I'd like to stay a little bit focused on this. As soon as this is done, let's talk about those benchmarkings, and I'll show you some stuff that you can see today. And then you probably missed my other stream. I streamed Go. We did a little benchmarking on Go, and that was pretty fun. We had fun with that. So yeah, hold me to that. Let's talk about that in just a little bit. Actually, what I can do is I have this here. I'm going to bring this chat over while we're doing this. Whoa, that's way too much chat. Way too much. There we go. So this is what I'm going to do with flow control. And then that will put us right up into error handling. So, we're not error handling here. We're just flow controlling with match. And I think that will make last week's much simpler. We won't need the function and everything. We were pulling out functions to do this. We had functions that would panic and things like that. And again, this started to edge on error handling, not just flow control. The weird part is your iflets are kind of all around optionals. So I still have to do an optional, but I don't have to do a result. So it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay with that. Does that sound reasonable? Sound good? Good feedback? Bad feedback? All right, let's talk about error handling and what I love about error handling in Rust. Again, this is going to be more of a conversation as I want your guys' feedback about what could be confusing. In Rust, and I compare a lot of stuff to Go because I know Go fairly well. I like fail fast. I think all of you know that. And I like error handling that fails fast. So we can go into this project here. Let's see, it's pick a number. 7. There was 2 characters read, 7. We can get into why there's 2 characters read. You're gonna look at this and you're gonna be like, no, I only typed 1 character. The thing is, let's run it again. I hit a 7, nothing happens. What do I have to do to actually enter this number in? I have to hit enter, which means there's a return character. So technically, I'm entering 2 characters. And this is why there's a trim. So if you look in here, with our user input, we read our user input in. This isn't really about user input. It is about error handling, though, and we can have errors. So let's find where we use our get input. So we're getting this string, we're trimming it. And the reason we're trimming it, again, we have that extra character. And then we're parsing it. But let's actually have an error. You'll notice if it's okay, we print your value is X. Let's on the bad case, let's return there was an error parsing your input. And we'll need to actually return. This is fantastic here. This is the let else that I showed you that Russell had done that I absolutely love. And what this says is we're going to unwrap this parse input. If you notice, this parse input returns a result of i32 and parse int error. That means that you can either have an i32 or a parse int. This result here is actually an enum. We're not going to get too far into enums today, but enums in Rust are completely different than any other enum, and they're fantastic. They're one of the best things about Rust. So yeah, you can see this is an enum. This is actually an enum that's returning, and there's 2 things. It can either be okay with type T, or it can be error with type E. Pretty powerful. pretty powerful. Let's go back. So we're getting this result object. It's not just a... So in some other languages, and I'll pick on Go, for example. In Go, you would do something like this. A, E, equals, my parse int function. And this would be your Go string. And you can also do this, and you can just not deal with that error at all. You can say, I just want the thing that returns. You can do E, you can check E, and then you can go, after you've checked E, sorry, it's trying to write Rust, and so my compile, it's a little confused, but after you check E, you can go ahead and try to use A again, and you'll have a runtime error. This is where I consider Go to be a fail eventually. And by fail eventually, I mean inevitably fail in production. And a lot of languages are like this, but not Rust. Rust returns this result. Now, we can't use the i32. There is no i32. This return here, this return has no i32. We can't say, if we try to do if ret equals 5, it's going to complain because it's a mismatched type. Expected a result, found i32. It expected this. You can't use it. It's impossible to use. Rust is protecting you. I know it's aggravating at first, but the result is protecting you. You have to unwrap it. And we can use an if statement like we learned last week to unwrap it. And that's what's happening here. We're saying, get rid of this error. We're saying here, if this is okay, we can move on. And this has unwrapped I for the future scope. And if it has, if it wasn't okay, if it was an error state, we're going to return here. We're just going to print an error. So let's test this out. Let's see if this worked. Pick a number, 7. We can see we got our number as 7. Let's run it again and type in Merrick. There was an error parsing your input. We handled input error, but Rust forced us to. We actually couldn't use this i32 until we dealt with it. But there's actually other ways to deal with this as well. We learned I do fail to understand and have had a hard time reading let condition else. Okay, so yeah, let's break it down. This is good. There's a couple ways to do this. This isn't the only way. I do love this way. The other way that's a standard is the if let. Now, the reason I don't use the if let nearly as much is because the if let encourages nesting. So let's rewrite this as an if let. Let's do that. Sorry. And I think you'll see. And I think you'll see what I mean here. So you'll notice that Rust is automatically going to complain here because guess what? I doesn't exist anymore. All right, and we can't use the return because that's not the actual value. So let's do this if let. We can do if let. If, so the syntax is if let okay. Now, for the videos, I actually turn off Copilot. I know that we're testing Copilot, and I need to make that video on Copilot and other AIs. But okay, we can do this. But I think you can already see here. Notice how I used to return your value as I here. I is not available outside the scope of this if statement, which means if you need to do something, like let's say that you needed to add this to another, let new ret equal this. We now have nesting. See this function? It returns a result. And the only way to deal with this is to do another if statement. Now, as you can see, this can start to nest out of control. That's why I don't like this one as much. If let uses double equal comparator right. No, it doesn't. You're not comparing okay to this. You are basically assigning this to the unwrapped okay in this if it works. Okay? So here, you're assigning the okay to this. You could also assign the error to something. So we can say else error e equals return, and we can use the error here. So it's not a comparison, but it is kind of comparing. Basically, it's saying if it's an error, assign e to the error return. If you remember, return has it has two things. It has the value that you wanted, and it has an error. That's what result has. It has the value and it has an error. This is calling unwrap effectively. So this is something you should never use. I never want to see this in your code. You'll have let me down if this is in your code. There is another way to do this. There is another way to do this that makes little children cry all across the globe. Let I equals ret dot unwrap. Can anybody see the problem in this? This is effectively saying I don't care if there's an error. It's going to unwrap this, and it's going to get you I. I wish wholeheartedly they never created unwrap. I wish people couldn't use it. I know that that's strong words, but I do wish that people could not use unwrap. And we'll see. We'll see right here. Because what happens when we pass Merrick here? You get a fail at runtime. It's not impossible to get fail at runtime. Rust makes it difficult to make fail at runtime. Makes it difficult. You have to do bad things to get it. Now, I honestly would petition to have unwrap removed. Unwrap should be in unsafe code. I don't know of a time that I've had to use it. I've used it because I've been lazy. You can call unwrap or else. If you do that, that's fine. I don't ever do this. I think it's, what is it? Or else? Is that a library? Yeah, it's this. Yeah. You can do this. And this is fine. Is it this? Yeah, okay. It's unwrap or else. This is acceptable. And this is a good call. I think this is acceptable. I don't like it as much. It only works if a default value has meaning. But for me, I think that this is inferior to the let else here. Because this is giving you a 0. Does 0 mean something to the rest of your code? Or are you going to get a bug later on down because you did something with 0? So like in this case, let's do this. Watch this. And hopefully this demonstrates why I don't like this as much. We actually had a failure at runtime that wasn't a failure. We logged there was an error parsing your input, but it returned your value is 0. So if we had done something with that value in the future, we would have actually had a bug. And so I think this encourages bugs. Now, sometimes it's fine, especially if it's an optional thing. Hey, they could have this. It's an optional. And the default value is 0. That's fine. I think that's fine. This is good. I wasn't going to actually bring up unwrap or else, but I think it's a good one to bring up because it's fine. Thanks for bringing that. And this is why I love having these conversations with you guys before I make the videos, so I get this type of input. I don't think of unwrap or else because I don't think of unwrap at all. In general, unwrap is a bad word. You'll get anathema points for using unwrap. Yeah. All right. What else? What else should we be covering here? What else should we be covering here? The other thing, and we saw this in Russell's code, not here, but the pull requests that we reviewed. Let's look at close pull requests. Let's see. This question mark. I didn't know if this was too advanced, but I wanted to see if you guys thought that this was a good thing to do. So basically what the question mark does is propagate for you. It propagates an error for you. So what we can say is instead of get input is returning a string, we can say that get input is going to return a result of type string and a dynamic box. And then instead of matching here like we had originally done, all we have to do well, this wasn't well thought out. One second. Let me think about this. Let me leave this one the same. I'm just going to make it a different one. All right. Let's see. How would we actually do this well that makes sense for people? So what this does is it propagates the error up. Basically, it says try to unwrap this, and if not, it's going to return the error. So basically, it does that whole return for you, that early return, which I so love. It does it all for you. It basically says unwrap it or return this, but it means that you have to be returning a result. Effectively, you can only use this if you're returning this thing with this box dynamic error. So it can make your code very clean, but it's a little bit more advanced. Let me think about how we use how we do this simply. Actually, let's not do it on this here. Let's do it on one of these where we were returning a result. I'm gonna put this here so I don't have to type that out. I think this might make the most sense here. Okay, what if calls other func might fail? All right, so what if this function calls this function here? So let's say this one does might fail. And we want this to return just, I don't know, an I32. It calls might fail with I32. And then what it does is it actually returns, or it leverages what returns. Let's say let b equals might fail. It does that with might return 2, which returns an optional. And then we do let c equals might return with b. And see, this made it really convenient. We didn't have to sit and unwrap this. It's either going to unwrap it. It's either going to unwrap it and make this. Wait, does this return a string? It does return a string. That's horrifying. I need a function that takes a string. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's make another function that takes a string. This is. Okay. This might fail, even if it's a month. Even if it's a month, this might fail. I'll come up with a little bit better function for the video, obviously. But this takes that string, and guess what? Guess what? We can just. This is going to return a string. We're going to say that this returns a string. This will just make it easier. String. And we're going to say that these all return these. Right? Oh, we have one too many. There we go. Got a little excited there. Okay. Let's see. Expected a struct, found a string. Oh, we are using this. Does that have a convenient helper macro? I'll have to look this up. I haven't returned a dynamic box error in a little while. We'll just leave it like this for right now. Oh, this is wanting an error instead of a string in here. I got it. We'll fix that in a second. And then here we go. What is the VS Code plugin that is smart hints for autocomplete of the code? Well, so there's two things that are going on here. One that you're seeing is Copilot. We can deactivate Copilot, and we can then enable it. That is what's doing a lot of this. So this function becomes really simple because of the question mark. We didn't have to do a match statement like we did up here. We said, basically, if this works, great. If it doesn't work, just propagate that through this error. So this error right here. And that's great too. So, pretty awesome. I'll find a way to do the question mark. The question mark should be in there because it's super powerful, especially that way you effectively get a dot unwrap without the downfalls of a dot unwrap. If your function returns a result, all you have to do is a question mark. And that's what we can see Russell's doing a good example of that. This function returns a result, and he can just run a question mark. I think he does it a couple of times through here. He awaits, question mark. Await, question mark. You see question marks all through here because these are all returning results. You can all see that he is returning an error from here. He doesn't have to match on OK on each one of these. He is just propagating this error to the next, to whatever function called run container. Super, super helpful. So now you'll notice my Visual Studio Code isn't nearly as helpful. So the plugin I'm using here is I use Code LLDB and just Rust Analyzer. Watch my my Rust YouTube videos. I go over these two. Copilot is its own thing, which does pretty good work. You have to be careful though; it's a little tricky sometimes. All right. Did I miss anything big in error handling there? Should we go on to a little elevator? Become a little bit of an elevator programmer? Professional elevator? Professional. I think we should do some elevator. It will be a good round out for the day. I think we did some good work today. We got some progress done. And yeah, this is pretty good. Feel like this is should make two pretty good videos on flow control and error handling. What do you guys think? Any other feedback? Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, I do run a YouTube video, a YouTube channel, so you can check it out. It's linked below. I make videos on this stuff. Yeah. All right. Let's get into some elevator-ness. Elevator saga. Ha. Let's see where we started, where we left off. I know this is everybody's favorite. We have become, let me update the I need to get better about updating what is out there, my titles. Pro Elevator Programmer. All right. We failed epically. I don't actually think I'm going to make it past this one right now because I feel like where we got last time was pain and suffering. Pain and suffering. What we really need is something that manages. What you'll notice is, let's watch this one. They'll go to ghost floors. Ah, see, ghost floor right there. And that was because it was the closest when it was called, but it doesn't mean that it's going there right now. And we don't reorder where they're going. It was also full, and it went to pick up more people because it was full, which also means this one doesn't ever consider this one because it was full. So we need to start, basically, as of right now, both of these operate on their own with no real knowledge of the other one. The only thing that we did was we did this which elevator is closest. Find the closest elevator. And if anybody is asking, this is actually JavaScript inside of JSON. So this is a JSON object with JavaScript. This hurts. This hurts. I don't know why I do this to myself. All right. I think an easy thing that we can do is first thing here in this for each we need to do is check if this elevator is full. Is check if it's full. If it's full, where is the documentation? There we go. If it's full, there is elevator object, load factor. So let's do this. If it's full, we don't need to use it. So if elevator load factor is greater than, I'm going to say 0.9. Again, each passenger has weight. And so I'm going to say like 0.9 means like if it's above 0.9, it's actually, I'm going to say maybe 0.85. Maybe just 0.8. Maybe we'll have to play around with this number. It's full and it shouldn't accept more passengers. This is an easy one. We're just going to return. Or is this continue? I don't know for a Java for each. It's a function, so I think it's a return. And then this function will get called again, so I think that's just a return. Let's apply that. At least it didn't break. This isn't going to fix it. We'll still get the phantom ones because they'll queue up behind each other, but yeah, see, already got a phantom one because this one picked them up because there was 2 passengers there and this one got one, blah blah blah. It's a terrible system. I think we did worse there. Did I actually do worse there than the last times? Why is it not moving? Why did it not pick up these? So each time this... Oh. Oh, I know what's happening here. The up button is already pressed, so it didn't register that it got pressed again. Or at least this is what I'm assuming. Because all of the new people were on floors that already had people on them, and these buttons were already pressed. So it never did a find closest floors again, because it had said it's full. Oh. Oh dear. Okay. So I guess this is where we do on idle. On elevator idle, this is where we need to find out if there's somewhere it should be going. It needs to go. I guess we just look over the floors. Do people not like the elevator saga? We don't have to do it. Seems like a lot of people left for elevator. Do people not like it? I find it kind of fun. It's relaxing for me. Um, no pressure to. I like stupid thing here. I did. Uh. I had 2-string here. This is why this wasn't working. So like 2-string isn't working because it's not wanting a string. Where like into will work because into is going to convert it into the thing that it wants to be in, which is an error. But when you're streaming live, sometimes I don't know. I have brain farts. And then my brain farts make me more nervous. But in here, it's not even a brain fart. I just literally don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Ooh, actually, let's get chat back over here. Stop that. All right. So on idle, we need to do like a. I guess we'll just do a for each on the floors. Floors dot for each function. Oh, that's wrong 0. Wrong O. All right. And then what do the floors have? Oh, wait. There's a get pressed floors. I don't even have to check the floor. Floor object. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is we're having a passing floor here. This is a cool idea where if we're passing a floor, we could check if people are there, and if people are there, we could stop if we have load. And then what we need to do is we need to tell everybody else that we picked the passengers up if we got all of them. Can we tell if we got all the passengers? I don't think there's a way to tell if you got all the passengers. Oh, do I need to be setting these? Oh, I need to be setting these. Like if it's going up, I only want up passengers. Oh boy. Oh, you guys would like a Discord bot ping when I go live? We can absolutely do that. Let's program it out one of these days. I have the bot and it all works. We need to deploy it and we need to make that as a piece of functionality. Let's do it on Tuesday night. We need to do the current floor. We need to find like the closest. So what was that? Closest floor. Wait. What was that? It was like current floor. There we go. Hmm. Are we doing another one of these deltas? This felt gross to me. Maybe we shouldn't do this. And maybe the better thing to do first. No, we gotta. Let's just do this where. Another tab. And maybe what we do first is just find a floor. It doesn't even matter. Find a floor with passengers on it. If floor dot. I can't tell if these are just events. So I can't see if a floor has passengers. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. On this, we're just going to start moving to either end. Basically, since electricity isn't a factor here, we're just going to have it start going back and forth if there's no passengers. That's what it's going to do. It's a horrible plan. And then what we can do, what I was seeing here, is basically basically if it gets a destination, that will stop it. And if it passes somebody that needs picked up, that will also stop it. The weird thing is we can't actually check if the button's pressed or not. We have an event, but we don't have... We don't have a way to check if the floor has the button pressed. Oh, but here we can. Okay. Okay, so the elevator has a way to check. Oh, but that's for the floor numbers in the elevator, for the people in the elevator. That's the current pressed floors. How do I know if there's people? Because I also don't know how many people get on. So, like, there could be 5 people waiting here and only 2 of them get on. I feel like this API isn't complete. Am I missing something? I don't know what I'm missing here. I cannot see if a floor has people on it. I can't even check if the buttons are pressed. I was hoping to, like, find the code. So here's the elevator, here's the floor. Is it just an undocumented? That's, I'm hoping. There is button states. I knew it. I knew it. Can I use these button states? So this is floor.floornum. That's what is exposed. So I think we can actually use this. Floor.floornum. Floor.press down button. And this doesn't return anything though. So this just returns void. Shoot. Can't do that. Wait. But floor.button states exists as a property. Can we use it? I'm going to try. Button states.up. And what is activated is what it's used as. So I don't know that this will work. I just want to see if this runs and doesn't go into an error state. Let's just do something here. if this is true, we want to add this floor to the elevators list of. So we just want to do elevator dot go to floor or num. Don't hit save automatically. Wait. I don't have floor num. No, it's floor dot floor dot floor num. Again, I hit save automatically. Here we go. Oh, nope. It doesn't like something. It doesn't like something. Is it this? Is it this? I have a feeling it's this. I have a feeling it's this. I mean, it's something in this. An elevator. Wait. Did I spell it right? I think so. Go to floor. Oh, floor num is a function. Maybe that's it. Right, floor num is a function, right? Floor num, yeah. So there was a problem, but it still doesn't like it. Still doesn't like it. Well, let's take this out. I'm pretty sure it does not like me accessing this button states. Does this mean I have to compile my own version? I feel like I'm going to have to run this locally. I want these. So I just have to have a function that returns the button up and button down. These don't, right? This is a function, press up button, press down button, but these are actions. Oh, wait, what is this? Elevator available. This is not in the documentation. What is this? If the elevator is going up indicator and the floor button state up, try trigger button state changed. Oh, here's a undocumented one. I'm not sure this helps, but for what I was trying to do. Oh, can I just call this? Elevator available? This is more like a event. This event will be called, but if this is exported, I can actually just call this and listen to the event then. Not documented, but I think that's what I could do here. Anyways, it's noon. I'm probably going to call it good for today. How'd everybody like the stream? I hope everybody liked it. Hope we had fun. Maybe learned something. All right. Well, we can find somebody to raid, but I think a lot of you left after I stopped doing the Rust when I did the elevator. So I might just call it quits for now then. I will get office hours for Tuesday, and I'll announce them tomorrow for my live stream with for my news. I'll announce those. I think I'm going to get them at noon Eastern. I just got to make sure that I don't have any work to do at that moment. So yeah. But other than that, we'll have some office hours. Hopefully, the whole world can join as best as possible, and except for Hawaii, it will be in the middle of the night for Hawaii. But who cares about Hawaii? That's what I'm saying. Anyways, yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Super appreciated everybody coming out, hanging out. And I will see you guys tomorrow.